The ancient's words sent shockwaves through the assembled aliens. Captain Lee Hyunwoo watched as beings who had seemed confident and powerful just moments before now looked afraid. The chamber buzzed with worried conversations in dozens of alien languages. "How long do we have?" Captain Lee Hyunwoo asked, his voice cutting through the noise. The ancient turned its attention to him. The Devourers move slowly but steadily. Our sensors detect them approximately 1 year away from the outer rim of the galaxy. High Counselor Zephys stepped forward. "Ancient One, the last time the Devourers came, we had 1,000 years to prepare. We barely survived even with that much time. Which is why we need new approaches," the ancient replied. "The old strategies will not work again. The Devourers have evolved, become stronger." Ambassador Lumina's energy form flickered with worry. "What makes you think these humans can help?" "They're just one species with one ship." The ancient looked directly at Captain Lee Hyunwoo. "Because in all my years of observation, I have never seen a species that thinks like humans do. Every problem you have encountered today, you solved in ways that no one expected." Dr. Choi Boram stepped forward. "What exactly are these Devourers?" War Chief Kratos answered, his voice heavy with old pain. "They are machines, but not like any technology we understand. They consume matter and energy, growing larger and stronger with each world they destroy. They cannot be reasoned with or stopped by conventional weapons. The last invasion destroyed 40% of all inhabited worlds," added Dr. Voss. "Entire species were wiped out. The survivors spent thousands of years rebuilding." Captain Lee Hyunwoo felt the weight of responsibility settling on his shoulders. "What do you need from humanity?" "Everything," the ancient said simply. "We need your ship, your people, and most importantly, your way of thinking. The final trial is not a test. It is preparation for war." Within hours, representatives from the Indomitable were working alongside alien scientists and engineers. The ancient space station Harmony's Edge transformed into a war planning center, with beings from dozens of species collaborating desperately. Park Dayun found herself working with Architect Prime Christek on defensive systems. "The problem," Christek explained, "is that the Devourers adapt to whatever weapons we use against them. Energy weapons become ineffective after the first few battles." "What if we don't use energy weapons?" Park Dayun suggested. "What if we use something so primitive that they can't adapt to it?" Christek's crystalline form pulsed with confusion. "What do you mean?" "Kinetic weapons. Big heavy objects moving very fast. No fancy energy signatures to adapt to. No complex technology to counter. Just mass and velocity." The alien engineer was quiet for a long moment. "You want to fight advanced alien machines with rocks?" "Very fast, very heavy rocks," Park Dayun corrected. "Launched from ships moving at significant fractions of light speed." Meanwhile, Dr. Choi Boram was working with alien biologists to understand the Devourers' behavior patterns. "According to your records," she said, studying holographic displays, "the Devourers always attack the most heavily defended worlds first." "Yes," confirmed Dr. Voss. "They seem to prefer targets that put up strong resistance. That's not logical for machines," Dr. Choi Boram mused. "Unless they're not just trying to consume matter and energy. They're trying to learn and improve by fighting strong opponents." Ambassador Lumina floated nearby, her attention focused on the human scientist. "What are you suggesting? What if we give them weak targets first, decoy worlds that look defended but aren't? While they're busy learning to fight fake defenses, we prepare real surprises." In another part of the station, Captain Lee Hyunwoo was meeting with Fleet Admiral Seo Dong-wook, who had arrived with a small fleet of human ships. The admiral was older than Lee Hyunwoo, with gray hair and the steady manner of someone who had fought in many battles. "Captain," Admiral Seo said, "Earth Command has authorized me to commit all available resources to this fight. We're bringing everything we have." "How many ships?" Lee Hyunwoo asked. 12 Titan-class vessels like the Indomitable, plus 30 smaller craft. It's not much compared to the alien fleets, but our ships have one advantage." "What's that?" "We built them wrong," Admiral Seo said with a slight smile. "Every alien ship in this galaxy follows logical design principles. Our ships were built by humans who didn't know the rules. That might be exactly what we need." Ambassador Hanya Rin, Earth's top diplomat, joined the conversation. She was an elegant woman who had spent years preparing for first contact with alien species. "Admirals, I've been negotiating with the Galactic Council. They're offering humanity full membership and citizenship in exchange for our help with the Devourers." "What's the catch?" Captain Lee Hyunwoo asked. If we fail, and the Devourers win, there won't be a galactic community left to join, Han Yerin replied grimly. The preparation continued for weeks. Human and alien engineers worked together to modify ships and weapons. Human tactical officers shared their chaotic battle strategies with alien commanders who had never seen anything like. The Ensign Bei Minho found himself training alien pilots in what the humans called impossible flying. The key, he explained to a group of confused alien pilots, is to stop thinking about what your ship can do and start thinking about what you need it to do. A Vexthari pilot raised a clawed hand. But if we exceed our ship's design parameters, we'll crash. Maybe, Bei Minho admitted. But if you don't exceed them, you'll definitely die when the Devourers come. At least this way, you have a chance. Chief Medical Officer Yoon Ji-hae made another important discovery while studying the alien medical records. Captain, she reported, I've found something interesting. Human biology is different from every other species in the galaxy. How so? We heal faster, adapt to new environments more quickly, and our immune systems are incredibly robust. More importantly, we have redundant biological systems that other species lack. What does that mean for the war? It means humans can survive in situations where other species would die. We might be able to operate in environments that the Devourers create, places where other species can't go. Finally, the moment of truth arrived. Long-range sensors detected the first Devourer scouts entering the galaxy. The Ancient called for a final war council. The enemy approaches, it announced. Our combined fleets will meet them at the Zirian system. This battle will determine the fate of our galaxy. Captain Lee Hyunwoo stood before the assembled representatives. We've all worked together to prepare for this moment. Humans, Vexthari, Ethereals, and dozens of other species. We've shared our knowledge, our technology, and our strategies. High Counselor Zephys nodded approvingly. Your species has shown us new ways to think about old problems. Win or lose, humanity has earned its place among us. We're not planning to lose, Captain Lee Hyunwoo said firmly. The Devourers may have evolved since their last invasion, but so have we. And now we have something they've never faced before. What's that? Asked War Chief Kratos. Humans who don't know when to quit. The combined fleet launched from Harmony's edge, hundreds of ships from dozens of species traveling together toward an uncertain fate. At the center of the formation flew the Indomitable. Its human crew ready to prove that sometimes the best way to solve an impossible problem is to ignore the fact that it's impossible. As they jumped into hyperspace, heading toward the greatest battle in galactic history, Captain Lee Hyunwoo allowed himself a small smile. The galaxy had tested humanity and found them worthy. Now it was time to show the Devourers what the newest members of the galactic community could do. The Titan-class warship Indomitable roared through space, carrying with it the hopes of countless worlds and the unbreakable spirit of humanity. The real test was just beginning. The first trial began within hours of the humans' arrival at Harmony's edge. Captain Lee Hyunwoo and a small team were transported to the Ancient Station, where they found themselves in a vast chamber filled with impossible architecture. The walls seemed to bend in directions that didn't exist, and gravity worked differently in various sections of the room. Dr. Choi Bo-ram stayed close to the captain, her scientific instruments going crazy as they tried to measure the environment around them. Captain, this place is like nothing I've ever seen. It's as if the laws of physics are just suggestions here. High Counselor Zephys waited for them at the center of the chamber, along with representatives from a dozen other species. Welcome to the testing chamber, he said. This facility has been used for thousands of years to evaluate new species. Chief Medical Officer Yoon Ji-hee, who had joined the away team, was scanning the alien representatives with her medical tricorder. She was a calm, professional woman who had served on frontier colonies before joining the Indomitable. Captain, she whispered, I'm getting some very interesting readings from these beings. The first trial is mental, announced Ambassador Lumina, her energy form glowing brighter. We must understand how your species thinks and processes information. Before Captain Lee Hyunwoo could ask what that meant, he felt a strange pressure in his mind. It was as if something was trying to push its way into his thoughts. Around the chamber, other alien beings were focusing intently on the human delegation. Captain, Dr. Choi Bo-ram gasped. They're trying to read our minds. The pressure increased and Lee Hyunwoo felt his thoughts becoming foggy. But then something unexpected happened. Instead of his mind being overwhelmed, he felt his thoughts becoming clearer and more focused. It was as if the mental pressure was actually helping him think better. Suddenly, the alien stepped back, looking confused and even frightened. "Impossible," muttered Dr. Voss, the Zeltron scientist. "Their minds are completely chaotic. I can't establish any kind of mental connection." Ambassador Lumina's energy form flickered with surprise. "I've never encountered minds like these. They don't follow any logical patterns, but somehow they're still extremely functional. The collective overmind, a hive mind species that had been silent until now, spoke through its representative. We tried to join our consciousness with theirs. Instead of finding order, we found creativity. Random thoughts that somehow connect to form solutions. It's disturbing." Captain Lee Hyunwoo realized what had happened. "You can't read human minds because we don't think like you do." "Explain," demanded War Chief Kratos. Dr. Choi Bo-ram stepped forward, her excitement overcoming her nervousness. "Human brains evolved differently than yours. We don't think in straight lines. We make connections between ideas that seem completely unrelated. It's called lateral thinking." "It's more than that," Dr. Yoon Ji-hai added, checking her medical readings. "Captain, I've been scanning our alien friends here. Their brain structures are highly organized and efficient, but human brains are messy. We have redundant systems, backup pathways, and neural connections that serve no obvious purpose." "What does that mean?" asked Architect Prime Christek. "It means we're hard to break," Captain Lee Hyunwoo said simply. "If one part of our thinking process gets damaged or blocked, we have other ways to solve the same problem." High Counselor Zephys looked troubled. "This explains your technological advancement. Where other species would see problems as impossible, you find unexpected solutions." "The second trial is technological," announced Christek. A series of complex machines appeared in the chamber, their purpose completely unclear. "These are puzzles that have challenged our greatest minds for centuries. Solve them and you pass this trial." Park Da-yoon, who had also joined the away team, approached the machines with interest. "Captain, these devices are incredibly complex. I can see parts that look like energy converters, matter manipulators, and dimensional processors. How long do other species usually take to solve these puzzles?" Dr. Choi Bo-ram asked. "Most species require several months," Christek replied. "The fastest solution took 6 weeks." Park Da-yoon was already studying the first machine. "Captain, I think I see the problem. They're trying to solve these puzzles using conventional engineering principles." "What do you mean?" Lee Hyunwoo asked. "Look at this energy converter. It's designed to transform one type of energy into another, using a series of complex steps. But what if we bypass half the process and use a direct conversion method?" She began working on the machine, ignoring the intended control systems, and instead connecting components in ways that made the alien observers gasp. "She's going to destroy it," War Chief Kratos rumbled. But instead of breaking, the machine suddenly hummed to life, operating at an efficiency level that made the aliens' instruments go wild. "Impossible," breathed Dr. Voss. "That should have caused a catastrophic overload." Park Da-yoon moved to the second machine. "Humans don't always follow the rules of engineering. Sometimes we make things work by doing exactly what we're not supposed to do." Within 2 hours, she had solved all 6 puzzles. The alien representative stood in stunned silence. "The third trial is cultural," announced Ancient Mother, Kess. "We must understand how your species interacts with others." The chamber transformed around them, becoming a simulation of a diplomatic meeting. Various holographic aliens appeared, each representing different species with their own customs and requirements. "You must negotiate a peace treaty between 5 warring species," Kess explained. "Each has different needs and cultural taboos. Most species take days to find a solution that satisfies everyone." Captain Lee Hyunwoo studied the situation for a few minutes, then did something that shocked the observers. Instead of trying to negotiate between the 5 groups separately, he called them all together. "I understand you all have different needs," he said to the holographic representatives, "but you also have something in common. You all want peace, so let's start there." Dr. Choi Bo-ram caught on quickly. "Instead of trying to give each group everything they want, let's find out what they absolutely need to survive and be happy." The negotiation took only an hour. By focusing on common ground and essential needs rather than complex cultural preferences, the humans found a solution that satisfied everyone. Remarkable, said Ambassador Lumina. Most species get trapped trying to honor every cultural requirement. You focused on what actually mattered. The fourth trial is physical, announced War Chief Kratos with obvious pleasure. Your species must demonstrate its combat capabilities. A young pilot from the indomitable Ensign Bei Minho had volunteered for this trial. He was barely 23 years old but had trained on Earth's most advanced fighter craft. You will pilot one of our standard fighters against our champions, Kratos explained. The combat is simulated, but the skills required are real. Ensign Bei Minho climbed into an alien fighter that was far more advanced than anything he had ever flown. The craft used gravity manipulation instead of conventional engines, and its weapons were based on exotic energy types. Ensign, Captain Lee Hyunwoo said over the communication system, remember your training. Don't try to fly their way. Fly like a human. The combat simulation began with Bei Minho facing 3 alien champions simultaneously. His opponents flew in perfect formation, using textbook maneuvers that their species had perfected over thousands of years. Bei Minho ignored everything he had been taught about their technology and instead flew the alien craft like it was a human fighter. He used wild, unpredictable maneuvers that no alien pilot would ever attempt. He made impossible turns and attacked from angles that violated every rule of space combat. Within minutes, he had defeated all 3 champions. How? Demanded one of the alien pilots. Those maneuvers should have destroyed your ship. I didn't fly the ship the way it was designed to be flown, Bei Minho explained. I flew it the way it needed to be flown to win. War Chief Kratos looked impressed despite himself. Your pilot treated our advanced fighter like a primitive weapon and somehow made it more effective. High Counselor Zephys stood up slowly. These trials have revealed something unprecedented. Humans don't just adapt to new situations, they transform them into something entirely different. There is one final trial, announced a voice that no one recognized. The chamber fell silent as a figure materialized in the center of the room. It was ancient beyond measure, clearly older than any species present. I am the ancient, the figure said. I have observed this galaxy for longer than your civilizations have existed. The final trial is not one you can prepare for. It is coming whether you are ready or not. The chamber around them dissolved, replaced by a view of deep space. In the distance, something massive was moving toward the galaxy. It was dark, hungry, and clearly hostile. The Devourers return, the ancient said. They consume entire worlds and leave nothing behind. Last time they came, half the galaxy died. The only reason we survived was through cooperation and sacrifice. Captain Lee Hyunwoo felt his blood run cold. When will they arrive? Soon, the ancient replied. The question is not whether humanity can join our galactic community. The question is whether humanity can help save it. The sight that greeted the Indomitable as it dropped out of faster-than-light travel took everyone's breath away. Harmony's Edge was an ancient space station the size of a small moon, covered in crystalline structures that glowed with soft blue light. But what shocked the human crew most were the ships surrounding it. 37 alien vessels hung in space around the station. Each one was different from the others, representing unique species and technologies. Some ships looked like living creatures with organic curves and flowing lines. Others were geometric shapes that hurt to look at directly. A few appeared to be made of pure energy contained in transparent shells. Captain Lee Hyunwoo stood on the bridge trying to process what he was seeing. Sensor report, he said calmly, though his heart was racing. The sensor officer's voice was filled with awe. Captain, some of these ships are larger than Earth's moon. The smallest one is still bigger than our biggest space station. And the energy readings? They're off the charts. Lieutenant Nam Soo-jin looked up from her communication station. She had been working for hours to establish contact protocols. Captain, I'm receiving dozens of different signals. Each ship is trying to communicate using different methods. Some are using radio waves, others are using gravity pulses, and a few are sending signals I can't even identify. Dr. Choi Bo-ram was practically vibrating with excitement. Captain, this is incredible. We're looking at representatives from dozens of different civilizations. Each one has developed technology in completely different ways. Commander Kang Woo-jin was less enthusiastic. His tactical training made him focus on potential threats. Sir, several of those ships have their weapons powered. Not aimed at us, but ready to fire. I recommend we keep our shields up and weapons ready. Park Do-eun studied her engineering displays with growing confusion. Captain, I'm analyzing the technology signatures from these ships. Something doesn't make sense. What do you mean? Lee Hyun-woo asked. Well, their technology is definitely advanced, but it's not necessarily better than ours in every way. Some of their ships are using energy sources that seem incredibly inefficient. Others have designs that should make them too slow to maneuver. Before the captain could respond, the main view screen lit up with an incoming transmission. The image showed a conference room inside Harmony's Edge. Dozens of alien beings sat around a massive circular table. At the center of the group was High Counselor Zephys, his golden scales gleaming under the station's lights. He spoke in a voice that was immediately translated by the station's systems. "Welcome, humans of Earth," he said formally. "I am High Counselor Zephys, speaking for the Galactic Council. We have gathered to meet with your species and determine your place in our galactic community." Captain Lee Hyun-woo stepped forward. "I am Captain Lee Hyun-woo of the United Earthship Indomitable. We come in peace, seeking friendship and knowledge." A being made of what looked like living crystal spoke next. "I am Architect Prime Christek of the Builders Consortium. We have studied your vessel's construction. Your engineering techniques are unusual," Dr. Choi Boram whispered to the captain. "Sir, I think that's a compliment, but I'm not sure." Another voice joined the conversation, this one coming from a being that appeared to be made of flowing energy. "I am Ambassador Lumina of the Ethereals. Your species' mental patterns are fascinating. We have never encountered minds that work quite like yours." Master Sergeant Oh Kyung-ho, the ship's security chief, moved closer to the captain. He was a large, quiet man who had fought in several Earth conflicts. "Sir," he said quietly, "something feels off about this. They're talking like they've been studying us for a long time." Captain Lee Hyun-woo had the same feeling. "High Counselor Zephys, may I ask how long your people have known about humanity?" There was a brief pause before Zephys answered. "We have been aware of your planet for some time. What surprises us is how quickly you have advanced. Most species take tens of thousands of years to develop faster than light travel. You achieved it in just a few centuries." War Chief Kratos, the mountain-like being, leaned forward aggressively. "Your rapid advancement concerns us. Species that develop too quickly often become dangerous to others." Commander Kang Woo-jin tensed at the implied threat, but Captain Lee Hyun-woo remained calm. "We understand your concern, but our rapid development came from necessity. We faced many challenges on our world that forced us to innovate quickly." "What kind of challenges?" asked Dr. Voss, the Zeltron scientist. Dr. Choi Boram stepped forward. "Natural disasters, resource shortages, conflicts between different groups of humans. We learned to solve problems by working together and thinking creatively." Architect Prime Christek's crystalline form pulsed with interest. "You solve problems through cooperation? Most species develop hierarchy first, then technology. Humans do both," Captain Lee Hyun-woo explained. "We have leaders, but our best innovations come when many people work together to solve a single problem." Ancient Mother Kess, who had been silent until now, spoke with her ancient, wise voice. "Tell us, Captain, how did you develop your faster-than-light drive?" Park Dayun looked at the captain, who nodded for her to answer. "We found artifacts in our solar system that taught us some basic principles. But we couldn't understand most of the technology. So we developed our own solutions using methods we already knew." "You combined primitive and advanced technologies?" Christek asked, sounding amazed. "We use what works," Park Dayun said simply. "Chemical rockets are reliable and easy to repair. Antimatter gives us the power we need for long journeys. Fusion reactors provide steady energy. We built our ship using all of these together." The alien representatives exchanged glances that the humans couldn't interpret. Finally, High Counselor Zephys spoke again. "Your approach to technology is unlike anything we have seen. Most species follow predictable development paths. You appear to ignore conventional limitations entirely." Ambassador Lumina added, "Your mental patterns support this. Where most species think in ordered, logical progressions, human minds seem to make random connections that somehow work." War Chief Kratos slammed his massive fist on the table. "This unpredictability makes them dangerous. How can we trust a species that doesn't follow normal rules?" "The same unpredictability might make them valuable allies," Lumina countered. "They might solve problems that we cannot." Captain Lee Hyun-woo sensed that this conversation was heading toward a decision point. "High Counselor, what exactly are you asking of us?" Zephys was quiet for a long moment. "Captain, your species has appeared in our galaxy without warning, using technology that shouldn't work, demonstrating capabilities that seem impossible. We must determine whether humanity represents an opportunity or a threat. How do you propose to make that determination? Lee Hyunwoo asked. Through a series of trials, Zephys replied. If your species can prove its worth and demonstrate that it can coexist peacefully with others, you will be welcomed into the galactic community. If not, the High Counselor didn't finish the sentence, but the implication was clear. Captain Lee Hyunwoo looked around his bridge crew. He saw determination in their faces mixed with concern. They were 50,000 light-years from home, surrounded by alien ships about to undergo tests that could determine the fate of their entire species. We accept your trials, he said firmly. Humanity has never backed down from a challenge. As the transmission ended, Master Sergeant Oh Kyung-ho approached the captain. Sir, what do you think these trials will involve? Captain Lee Hyunwoo stared out at the alien fleet surrounding them. I don't know, Sergeant, but I have a feeling they're going to test everything we are as a species. We'd better be ready to show them what humans are truly capable of. The Galactic Council chamber was in chaos. Representatives from hundreds of species filled the vast circular room, their voices creating a symphony of alien languages. High Counselor Zephys stood at the center, his golden scales reflecting the holographic displays that showed the human ship. Order. We must have order, Zephys called out, his voice amplified across the chamber. Ambassador Lumina floated near the main display, her crystalline form glowing softly. Counselor, the humans have been broadcasting their mathematical message for 6 hours. They're clearly trying to communicate. A harsh voice interrupted from the back of the chamber. It belonged to War Chief Kratos of the Hegemony, a species that looked like walking mountains of black stone. They could be pretending to be peaceful. Look at their ship. It's enormous and heavily armed. Many ships are armed, Lumina replied calmly. That doesn't make them aggressive. Zephys activated the main display showing detailed scans of the Indomitable. What concerns me most is how they built this vessel. Our analysts have studied their technology. It should not work. The chamber fell silent as the data appeared. The human ship used a combination of technologies that no other species had ever attempted. Chemical rockets provided basic thrust, while antimatter engines created the power for faster-than-light travel. Fusion reactors powered their weapons and life support systems. It's like they built a house using sticks and diamonds at the same time, muttered Dr. Voss, the Council's chief scientist. His people, the Zeltrons, were known for their analytical minds. There's more, Zephys continued. According to our historical records, this species was using horse-drawn vehicles just 400 years ago. 400 years. We've never seen technological advancement this rapid. An elderly being near the front of the chamber stood up slowly. She was Ancient Mother Kess of the Watchers, one of the oldest individuals in the galaxy. Her people had been observing other species for millions of years. I have lived for 12,000 years, she said, her voice carrying clearly across the chamber. I have watched countless species rise and fall. What these humans have achieved is unprecedented. In my experience, such rapid advancement usually means one of two things. The chamber waited for her to continue. Either they are a hidden advanced civilization pretending to be primitive, or they are naturally gifted at adaptation and learning. Both possibilities should concern us. On the Indomitable, Captain Lee Hyunwoo was unaware of the galactic debate about his ship. He was focused on a new development. The sensor officer had detected an alien probe approaching their position. Captain, the object is small, maybe 10 meters long, reported the sensor officer. It's broadcasting the same mathematical sequences we've been sending. Commander Kang Woo-jin, the ship's tactical officer, studied his displays carefully. He was young but had trained at Earth's best military academies. Sir, the probe's technology is definitely more advanced than ours. I'm reading energy patterns we don't understand. Dr. Choi Bo-ram was practically bouncing with excitement. Captain, this is it. Our first real contact with an alien intelligence. Lee Hyunwoo remained calm, as he always did in tense situations. Reduce speed to 1/4 impulse. Signal the probe that we're willing to communicate. Park Do-eun looked up from her engineering station. Captain, I'm analyzing the probe's propulsion system. It's using some kind of gravity manipulation. No exhaust, no heat signature. It's like it's falling through space in whatever direction it wants to go. Is it a threat? The captain asked. Commander Kang Woo-jin shook his head. I don't think so. It's not moving aggressively and it hasn't powered any weapons that I can detect. The probe moved closer to the Indomitable, staying exactly 1,000 kilometers away. It began broadcasting a more complex series of mathematical equations, followed by simple physics demonstrations. Dr. Choi Bo-ram worked frantically at her station. "I think I understand. It's teaching us its language by starting with universal concepts. Mass, energy, time, distance. Captain, this species is very intelligent. Can you respond?" Lee Hyunwoo asked. "I'm trying. Let me send back our understanding of what it's teaching us, plus some of our own concepts." For the next several hours, the two sides exchanged increasingly complex mathematical and scientific concepts. Dr. Choi Bo-ram gradually built a basic vocabulary that both sides could understand. Finally, the probe sent a message that made everyone on the bridge freeze. "Captain," Dr. Choi Bo-ram said slowly, "I think it just invited us to meet with other species. It's sending coordinates to something called Harmony's Edge." Lee Hyunwoo studied the coordinates. They pointed to a location about 50 light-years away. "What else did it say?" "That's the strange part. It said, 'The Council waits.' Captain, I think we're about to meet a whole group of alien civilizations." Back on Earth, Admiral Kim Tae-min received the report with growing excitement and worry. He stood in the command center of Earth Defense Command, surrounded by screens showing data from the Indomitable. "Sir," said his aide, Lieutenant Colonel Park Min-soo, "our deep space monitoring stations are detecting massive energy signatures moving toward the coordinates the aliens provided. At least 30 different ships." Admiral Kim felt his stomach drop. 30 ships? Are they armed? "We can't tell from this distance, but some of the energy signatures are enormous, much larger than the Indomitable." Admiral Kim made a decision that would change human history. "Send a message to Captain Lee. Tell him that Earth Command authorizes him to proceed to the meeting point. But also tell him that if this goes badly, he is to return home immediately and warn us." He paused, then added, "And start preparing our other Titan-class ships for emergency launch. If the Indomitable doesn't come back, we need to be ready." On the Indomitable, Captain Lee Hyunwoo read the Admiral's message carefully. He understood the weight of the decision. Humanity was about to meet alien civilizations for the first time. The outcome would determine whether Earth remained safe or became a target. "Dr. Choi," he said, "send a response to the probe. Tell them we accept their invitation to Harmony's Edge." The probe immediately began moving away from the Indomitable, clearly expecting the human ship to follow. "Helm, plot a course for the coordinates," Lee Hyunwoo ordered, "but keep our weapons ready and shields at maximum power." Commander Kang Woo-jin checked his tactical displays one more time. "Captain, I've been thinking about something. Why would so many alien ships gather just to meet us? We're just one ship from a species they've never heard of." Park Dae-yoon looked up from her engineering station. "Maybe that's exactly why they're gathering. Think about it. We appeared out of nowhere with technology that shouldn't work. If I were them, I'd want to know what we were capable of too." Captain Lee Hyunwoo nodded grimly. "That's what I'm afraid of. This isn't just first contact. This feels like an examination." As the Indomitable followed the alien probe toward Harmony's Edge, Captain Lee Hyunwoo couldn't shake the feeling that humanity was walking into something much bigger than they had prepared for. The galaxy was watching, and Earth's future hung in the balance. Captain Lee Hyunwoo stood on the bridge of the UES Indomitable, watching Earth grow smaller through the massive viewing window. The ship was enormous, stretching 15 kilometers from bow to stern. It was humanity's greatest achievement, built over 20 years using technology they had found in the asteroid belt. Strange alien artifacts had taught them how to bend space and travel faster than light. The bridge was busy with activity. Officers checked their stations and prepared for humanity's first journey beyond the solar system. Park Dae-yoon, the chief engineer, walked up to the captain. She was young but brilliant, one of the people who had helped design the ship's powerful engines. "Captain, all systems are ready," she said. "The fusion antimatter engines are running perfectly. We can jump whenever you give the order." Lee Hyunwoo nodded. He was 45 years old and had spent his entire career in space. He had fought in the Mars colony wars and commanded smaller ships for decades, but nothing had prepared him for this moment. Today, humanity would take its first step into the galaxy. "Any word from Admiral Kim?" he asked. Lieutenant Nam Soo-jin looked up from her communications station. "Admiral Kim sends his regards from Earth Command. He says the whole world is watching." The captain smiled slightly. Admiral Kim Tae-min was his old friend and mentor. The older man had been chosen to oversee the mission from Earth, while Lee Hyunwoo took the Indomitable into unknown space. Dr. Choi Bo-ram approached the captain's chair. She was the ship's expert on alien life and would handle any contact with other species. "Captain, I've been thinking about what we might find out there. The artifacts we studied came from at least 12 different civilizations. If they're still alive, we'll deal with whatever we find," Lee Hyunwoo said calmly. "Our mission is exploration and peaceful contact. The Indomitable is armed, but only for defense." The ship was indeed well armed. Hidden beneath its white and blue hull were quantum torpedo launchers, plasma cannons, and experimental shield generators. The armor plating could adapt to different types of attacks. The 50,000 crew members included both scientists and soldiers. "Helm, set course for Proxima Centauri," the captain ordered. "Prepare for jump." The helmsman's hands moved over his controls. "Course set, Captain. All stations report ready." Lee Hyunwoo took a deep breath. "Take us out." Space around the Indomitable began to shimmer. The ship's experimental drive created a bubble in reality itself. Stars stretched into lines of light as the massive vessel slipped into faster-than-light travel. In seconds, they had left the solar system behind. The journey to Proxima Centauri took only 6 hours. When they dropped back into normal space, the crew gasped at what they saw. The red dwarf star hung before them, and orbiting it was a small rocky planet, but that wasn't what shocked them. "Captain," the sensor officer called out, "I'm reading massive energy signatures throughout this system, artificial constructs, and there are more coming from deeper space." Park Da-eun studied her engineering displays. "Those energy readings are incredible. Some of them are bigger than our entire ship." Dr. Choi Bo-ram was already working at her station. "I'm detecting at least 30 different energy patterns. Each one is unique. Captain, I think we're looking at technology from many different species." Lee Hyunwoo felt a chill run down his spine. They had hoped to find alien life, but this was far more than they had expected. The galaxy was clearly full of advanced civilizations. "Are any of them moving toward us?" he asked. "Not yet," the sensor officer replied. "But several of the energy signatures are getting stronger. I think they know we're here." What the humans didn't know was that their arrival had indeed been detected. Thousands of light years away, alien monitoring stations had picked up the Indomitable's jump signature. Emergency messages were flashing across the Galactic communication network. On the ancient space station that served as the Galactic Council's headquarters, alarms were sounding. Species from across the galaxy were receiving the same shocking news. A new civilization had achieved faster-than-light travel. High Counselor Zephys, a tall reptilian being with golden scales, studied the reports with growing concern. His species, the Vexithari, had been spacefaring for over 10,000 years. They knew how difficult it was to develop FTL technology. "Show me the data again," he hissed to his aide. The holographic display showed the energy signature of the human ship. Zephys's eyes widened. The signature was unlike anything in their databases. It showed signs of primitive chemical rockets combined with advanced antimatter systems. It was impossible. "Have we identified the species?" he asked. "Yes, Counselor. They call themselves humans. They come from a small planet in what they call the Sol system. Our last survey of that region was conducted 3,000 years ago. At that time, the species was barely using metal tools." Zephys felt his blood run cold. A species had gone from primitive tools to faster-than-light travel in just 3,000 years. His own people had taken 50,000 years to achieve the same thing. On another part of the station, Ambassador Lumina received the same reports. Unlike Zephys, she was made of pure energy, contained within a crystalline shell. Her people, the Ethereals, were one of the oldest species in the galaxy. The energy patterns she sensed from the human ship were fascinating. They showed signs of incredible creativity and chaotic thinking. Most species develop technology in predictable ways. These humans seemed to ignore the rules entirely. She sent a message to the council chambers. "We must contact these humans immediately. They may be more dangerous than we realize." Back on the Indomitable, Captain Lee Hyunwoo was making his own plans. The alien energy signatures were clearly watching them, but none had made contact yet. "Dr. Choi, prepare a basic mathematical message," he ordered. "We need to let them know we come in peace." "Already working on it, Captain," she replied. "I'm using prime numbers and basic physics equations. Any advanced species should understand it." Park Da-eun looked worried. "Captain, our shields are reading some kind of scanning beams. Very subtle, but they're definitely studying us." "Let them look," Lee Hyunwoo said. We have nothing to hide. We're explorers, not conquerors. The captain didn't know that his words were being recorded and analyzed by dozens of alien species. Some found his peaceful intentions encouraging. Others saw them as a sign of weakness. As the Indomitable continued its journey through the Proxima Centauri system, the entire galaxy held its breath. Humanity had arrived and nothing would ever be the same.